Heat and DSM-5, general pathogenesis, last part 03. Any system of psychotherapy, any system of healing cannot exist without two components constituting that system: pathogenesis and the healing technique. The healing technique, of course, is a function of pathogenesis. Usually in psychotherapy, regardless of whether we follow the psychodynamic model or the cognitive model or any other model or a hybrid, every approach has its own idea about pathogenesis, and from that has evolved the healing technique specific to that approach. So pathogenesis is not something that we are doing for the first time. It is intrinsic to every system of healing. What is different about heat pathogenesis is the bringing in of epistemology. Two, first is bringing in of epistemology. Two, deploying elemental analysis. Three, using holistic healing to address the issues. And four, using multiple schools of psychoanalysis and also Eastern schools for the process of analysis, pathogenesis. So these four are different, and five, addressing directly elementals at their roots using various tools. So these five elements are different in the heat system from any conventional Western psychotherapy system, although many of the elements of the heat system can be found in deeper aspects of some spiritual or psychospiritual schools in the broad area of Hindu spirituality. But there, what you would not find is the presence of Western schools of psychotherapy. And the deeper aspects of dealing straight with the elementals is by and large a secret science known to a few, not shared with many. So this is how the heat system is different from both existing systems of the West and the East. So if we look at the heat pathogenesis aspect of heat system, we have the heat system pathogenesis in 7 points. Diagnosis, the story of symptoms, which is like any other psychodynamic school. From 3.3 to 3.7 is something which is different in heat, which is not found in other schools of psychotherapy, whether East or West. I have slightly changed the order here, makes it more sequential, compact, and watertight, logically more rigorous. 3.3 we have done in first part of this series, event causation. In the second part, we did general elemental analysis, and third part we'll be doing the rest of it: essential effect system, focused elemental analysis. Now, one thing that I would like to bring in, which I think we missed last time, was this: that let us start with a specific example. Last time we did an example of the complaint is of delusion of persecution. Now what do you do? Diagnosis is delusion of persecution. You take the story of the symptoms, you get many insights from that. for both pathogenesis and healing. That is one part. Then you do the general event causation to take a broad idea about the sickness. Then we bring in the holistic school approach. That if you look at the delusion of persecution from a Freudian standpoint, you get rooted into repressed homosexuality. If you look into the same problem from a Kleinian standpoint, you get rooted in the split being open and the attack of the bad breast happening. After doing holistic school analysis, let us say after considering various schools, if we conclude that given the situation, it looks the Freudian explanation is more plausible. So we proceed with that. And then we look at what is the Freudian formulation. And the formulation is the yin part, the feminine part of the person, of a man, or the masculine part of the woman, the young part of the woman, leads to a desire, a homosexual desire, which creates love for someone. And the first idea is created is I love you, acted upon by defenses to convert it into I hate you, magnified to I will kill you, projected to you will kill me, therefore the anxiety of paranoia. So this is the process. So if we go into this explanation, the Freudian explanation, after considering various schools, we realize that it's a one school explanation, not a hybrid, but one school explanation, which is the best. We take up, detail it out, and go into the general analysis of this very formulation. And when we go into the general analysis of this very formulation, we realize that evaluation of a homosexual desire as being sinful, unholy, guilt-provoking is the core of that whole process. It is the value evaluation of this desire. And that is what creates the non-acceptability and the consequent role of events. So this is what we call the first, we do a multiple school analysis. Then we see whether one school or a hybrid is the best fit. If one school is the best fit, we look at the formulation. Hybrid is the best fit, look at the formulation. And then analyze the formulation in terms of the core of that formulation. And there one can go elemental or one can remain as it is. It's better to go elemental. So we can use the general epistemological process, then go into details of the epistemological variables to see how the effect is generated in that core turn of the formulation. So this is what we do, that let us say there is an event causation, and then we go into the holistic school analysis, and from there we go into the general elemental analysis. And one part of the general elemental analysis, if we look at the process elementals, in the process elementals, if you put the last part of the process elemental variables together and expand it a little, you come to a slightly elaborated construct called the essential affect system. And from there, we go to the focused elemental analysis. So let's look at the example. Let's continue with the example of delusion of persecution. And let us say the Freudian explanation fits the best. So we put it to various schools and we say the Freudian is the best. So how do you do the first step is the core analysis, that you analyze what is happening. This is the formulation. Look at the defenses which are used to give us an idea, overall idea. And then what is the core of it? The core of it is this generation of unacceptability and therefore guilt. So this core value evaluation is the core of the whole thing. Then we apply this epistemological process. It's a Kantian process. We don't have to go to the level of wisdom. It's enough if we go to the knowledge, but if we can in some cases use the full process. So is the stimulus so strong so as to create a homosexual desire? Or is it this process? In by and large, most situations, it will be this process. In some situation, it will be a moderate stimulus and very strong this. So you can have a weak stimulus and strong inner process, or a moderate stimulus and a strong inner process. And then we go into this essential heat system as to how the affect is being generated, that why at the core of it, why the value evaluation of that emotion is taken to be so sinful. Is it that the person has heard about it to be so sinful, which means it is the environment from which something has come in, or is it karmic to him, or is it coming from his own nature and constitution? And then how is the evaluation system functioning? From where is it getting data? Once you lay elaborately that, then we come to the sensitivity, that after the evaluation system evaluates something as sinful, for unit element of sinfulness, how much guilt, how much rage is created because of the sensitivity, and how much, because of it, how much affinity is loaded onto the elemental, onto the process to get free life energy. And then when the affect is generated, how much of it can be contained, how much of it can be tolerated, how much can be regulated, and so on. And then finally the symptoms. So this gives us an elemental root point of how, what has gone wrong to create so much of negative effect, so much of blockage, and whatever has gone wrong, which variables were responsible leading to this point where something went wrong. So we use the epistemological variables. So let us say in delusion of persecution, how would it be? The problem would not be in sensation, it would be perception. Also, the problem would not be there. The problem core is in conception and knowledge, is in comprehension. So this is where the problem is located. That it is evaluated as something sinful based upon the criteria of knowledge assimilated from society, or by karmic endowment, or by constitution. Effect generated, you have to correct this. Let us say one patient we have where the karmic element is very high. Another person where the environmental component is very strong. And this leads to very high affect generation of rage towards oneself or the rage towards somebody else. So I love you is converted to I hate you because of guilt and because of anger towards oneself. How much is generated that dictates how much I hate you and how much I want to kill you, and therefore the strength of the paranoia. So in one case it could be karma, in second case it could be the environment, in third case it would be the evaluation system because of karma or environment or constitution. And then we see upon the case that how the affect is regulated or not regulated. What is the containment capacity there or not there? Obviously, it is beyond the containing capacity, therefore the symptom. And we get the details of how, in what part the problem in affect generation lies. Let us say now we find that the affect generation problem lies primarily in the evaluation system. Then the outcome is to work on the cognitive part. If it is this sensitivity, then the outcome is to work on the sensitivity aspect. If it is regulation, the problem is then to regulate it in a better way. Learn to strengthen the ego defenses. If it is containment, then the whole point is to develop the containing capacity. And then we use these entities to find out in the cognitive process which variables are at the center of that evaluation. Many of them like generality, form, space, state are not so important as the rest of them. And this gives us an outlet into what to heal and what are the approaches possible to heal and create an individual basket of solutions for the person. Take an alternative example. Let us say we had come to conclude that the Kleinian explanation was a better solution for the same problem. And then what we have is here the core would be the split being open. And there, in the split being open, the effect would be generated in a specific way. And to that, we look at this, like if we have a split being open and we do general elemental analysis of this, of the split being open, we get insights, and then we expand the general elemental analysis to heat effect system. Then we put the epistemological generic process. Then we use this elemental. And then based upon whatever elementals we feel need a correction, we use a basket of holistic healing tools to heal at the elemental level. So at one level, therapy proceeds like in any other therapy at a macro level. At another level, we can complement it by bringing in elements of trying to heal at the elemental level. And we can use tools, a basket full of tools to address both the macro issues and issues at the elemental level, which would be leading to the macro issues. So that is how the heat system goes different from existing systems of psychotherapy. Thank you.